Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Well, this time we're going to just look at a fistful of books here. This is John Carter, Warlord of Mars, from Edgar Rice Burroughs, or based on his A Princess of Mars and other Barsoom books, novels. Of course, Edgar Rice Burroughs is the creator of Tarzan. But this Princess of Mars was the first book that he wrote, got published anyway, and introduced the character of John Carter, transported mystically to the planet Mars, where he becomes a fighting man thereon, winning the heart of the beautiful Princess Dejah Thoris, and championing the city-state of Helium, and uniting many nations on the planet, and getting the title of Warlord of Mars. Of course, this was done by from Marvel Comics in the 70s. This is I forgot to check it again. What year? 77 is what I was thinking. From 77. This is shortly after DC lost the license to Tarzan and the other Edgar Rice Burroughs properties, and Marvel picked them up for about 2 or 3 years, and they had the John Carter Warlord of Mars, which ran for 28 issues plus I think it was three annuals, and at one time I had nearly all of them, but I don't any longer. And I'll just show a handful. I've still got to have a few others, but these were all handy. So, and of course, the Marvel iteration of John Carter, even though it's titled Warlord of Mars, he did not get that title until the end of the third novel, The Warlord of Mars. But this takes place within the time period of the first novel, Princess of Mars, although the bulk of that story takes place in the first few months or year or so of his initial sojourn on Mars. The novel covers 10 years, but there's a big empty gap in there, and that big empty gap in that 10-year period is where this other the Marvel stories take place. So it's before the birth hatching of his son Carthoris, and etc., which happens at the time that he's no longer on Mars. So, and this was who initially wrote this? I've forgotten. Marv Wolfman with Gil Kane and Dave Cockrum on art. Initially it was primarily Marv Wolfman and Gil Kane, and then the inkers kind of rotated through it. Later, it's a little later, it's Rudy Nebres. Did a great job. It's issue number 1. Savage Fury from the creator of Tarzan, action-packed first issue, and of course this initiated this novel by Burroughs initiated the sword and planet subgenre of science fiction. Even though there had been others that would be fit into that category. Most specifically, Gulliver Jones of Mars, which John Carter was a copy of, but Burroughs was a better writer than that guy. I've forgotten who wrote that book. Better writer at adventure, action and adventure. And but the popularity of John Carter and also his Carson of Venus, which was also would be Sword and Planet, gave rise to a bunch of other copies with copiers, which is many of various qualities. So that's issue 1. Issue 2, still Gil Kane. Oh, the white apes. And this is Rudy Nebris. This makes it look really lovely. His inks on Gil Kane's pencils. It looks very, very lovely. And this first 5 issues, or is it 4 issues? I can't remember. Are telling us their initial adventure in this series called the Air Pirates of Mars. Is that right? Yeah. That's it. Yeah, Air Pirates of Mars. More Kane and Nebris. And they had the 10-legged Banth, which is the Martian lion. It's issue 3. And issue 4. Reading different monsters. Always filled with all kinds of monsters having to be done away with. That's issue 5. Still Marv Wolfman, Gil Kane, and Rudy Nebris, number 5. Then we take a big skip to issue number 24. Betrayal. Witness the excitement as John Carter, Dejah Thoris, and Tarsh Tarkus battle for their lives against the Master Assassin of Mars. Another multi-part story, Betrayal. And this was, inside has art. This is written by Chris Claremont with pencils by Mike Vosberg, and Viamonte did the inks. I can't. Come on, can we get anything other than ads? Not as lovely. Not quite. The art's not quite as nice. I have somewhere. I also have some of the, at least 1 or 2 of the annuals, and I want to do a deep dive into one of those. Here's number 25, Inferno. If Carter fails, helium dies. Hide and seek. Same creators. Tarkus. They make all the artists basically have a tendency to make the green Martians too bulky, because they're tall, have low gravity. They're supposed to be relatively muscular but slender. Anyway, 25. Issue 26. Death Cries, the Guild of Assassins. Night of the Long Knives. Well, this has got Ernie Chen as the inker. It's In Disguise. John Carter in Disguise. Number 27, Death Marathon. Always got to save, but it saved Dejah Thoris, but here she's a little spunkier. And then, of course, later with, was it Dynamite? She's spunkier yet. Marathon of Death. I'll get past the ads. And of course, the John Carter character was a big inspiration for Flash Gordon. played a part in the inspiration for Superman, and geez, what else? And of course, ultimately, was influential in the creation of Star Wars. So Star Wars has a direct line back to Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter series. And then I believe this is the last issue. Larry Hama, Peter Gillis, different creators. Come on, I want to see what the... It's been a long time since I've read this. I want to see what the end is. Oh, maybe it's not. Watch for the John Carter annual. Oh, so this is tied into the annual. But I think that's the last regular issue. I think. I'm not positive. Maybe that might have been more, but I thought it was 28 there. Okay, then we have... still in there is John Carter of Mars. This is from Weird Worlds. This was a Dark Horse reprint, reprinting the John Carter storyline, originally done by DC Comics. And of course, John Carter was initially a backup story in Tarzan when DC started the Tarzan title, and then all that was reprinted later in and concluded in the new title of Weird Worlds, which also had featured had John Carter at their stuff from At the Earth's Core and the Carson of Venus stories. And I don't know if they ever concluded or ever reprinted any of those. I would think they would have. But of course, and this was, as I said, initially a backup, and it was done. You see the covers for the Weird Worlds. But initially it was a backup in Tarzan. And you see great Murphy Anderson artwork. And I don't want to go into too much detail. Then in the second part has Gray Morrow, and then we're back to Murphy Anderson and get other artists. And in this one, I wanted to reread this and do a deep dive into it. So I won't tell too much, but it initially starts following Princess of Mars, but they merge Princess, go right into the storyline part of the storyline from the second book, The Gods of Mars, and so it skips in that regard. And this is their entirety of the DC John Carter output. So, and as I said, I want to do a deeper dive into it. It had a variety of characters, so it had a variety of quality in stories. But I just love John Carter stuff. I want to get the Dark Horse reprint of this Marvel series too. But damn, it's getting expensive. So that's all I had to share with you this time. And I want to thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Tell me, are you a fan of Edgar Rice Burroughs? He's my favorite author, and so I love his stuff. And a big fan of the John Carter books. So let me know what you think of John Carter, Warlord of Mars. And remember, comics are art.